meal prep helps have a more stress-free mealtime with your family. You know, you can sit around the table and talk versus mom or dad getting up every single second to get something or make something new for a child, or it's great for picky eater. Like there's so many benefits of meal prep in all aspects of one's life. Even,
yeah.
You know, saving money, saving time, you know, reducing food waste, having more family time, less stress, more organized, you know, there's so many, the list goes on.
Yeah, well, and that was what I was going to ask you, because it was like, what makes you feel like how did you become so passionate about the prepping piece in particular? Because I know that you're a chef, so you cook for individuals, families in your area as well. When was it that like the actual prepping piece where you said, you know what, this is so important, I really want to focus on this?
Well, so I've been living in New York City since 2003. And back then I loved food always, but I would just buy, you know, I had a bigger fridge at the time. And a bigger freezer. So I would just buy and buy, and I would spend like $250 at the market just for me.
Yeah.
And I would waste so much food. But then fast forward to the pandemic, you know, I, of course, bought a lot of stuff to have in my cabinet and whatever in my pantry. And that's when really it like clicked. Like I have my signature workshop is called Plan Prep Plate, which you have attended. And that's when that idea came. Like I couldn't go to the supermarket every week, and I couldn't get certain foods that I wanted or needed. So I had to make do with what I had. And that's kind of the basis of my method. My Plan Prep Plate method is using what you have first versus shopping and then creating your menu plan. So I kind of flip it on its head in order to save money and save time, even just shopping at the market, and just being more creative and learning how to whip up meals without having to even go shopping.
Yeah, well, and I think that has to really be especially top of mind for people now, as we're seeing, you know, the cost of food soaring more than we've seen ever in our lifetimes, as far as I know. And so like, I know a lot of people are starting to really feel that. And so the more that you can do to save money and certainly not waste your money and waste your food, in addition to just, you know, the environmental concerns and just sort of the guilt and pain we all feel when we waste that food, I think that's huge. Yeah. So do you ever feel like it's a little bit difficult to convince people? Because I think sometimes when I hear meal prep, like I and maybe it's just like my social media feed, and granted, maybe me not so much because I'm already obsessed with food and meal planning and all of that. But like when I think of meal prep, I think a lot of people think of like, you know, like the CrossFitter with their like tidy little boxes of all perfect food, you know, and all the perfect containers, and everything's like portioned out, and somebody just feels like, you know, that's overwhelming. That's not me. Do you ever feel like, or do they feel like, you know, I don't have time for that? Do you get that a lot?
Yeah, I think becoming a good meal planner and prepper, it takes work, it takes dedication. You really have to want it for yourself, for your family, whatever your situation is. For me, I live and breathe it. Like I can talk about how to make chicken in a million different ways for hours, but not everyone's into that. So it really has to be like the perfect ideal client for meal prep coaching, because they really want to make a change and be committed to the act of meal prep. I mean, because it does take time, but once you practice it, it will be less and less time consuming, and you'll get better and better and better at it. And it makes it more enjoyable as well. So like, it does take a good amount of time to really get in the habit of it. But I also find that people, it's kind of like working out. Like, oh, I don't have time for yoga. I don't have time to meditate. Well, you have to make that time. You do have time, because we all scroll on our phones and waste lots of time. And we watch TV, you know, all the things that we waste time doing. We have time. Everyone has 2 hours in their week to organize in the kitchen if they want it, you know, and it's not for everyone, and that's okay. But what you said about the CrossFitters and stuff, I think that's the other myth that I like to debunk, is that meal prep doesn't have to be boring, and it can be fun. I mean, I post stories of my meals, and everyone's like, that looks so good. And I always say, like, it's so simple. I mean, last night I did a Instagram live and made a fish dish that it took 13 minutes from start to finish. I mean, and it was amazing. Like, I can't wait to make it for my clients. So it can be easy and can be fun. And to me, it's like the most fun game I can play.
Yeah.